What's going on, my friend? Singular and plural, my friends. I am talking directly to you. And I'm also talking to our family here. Good morning to each one of you. Good afternoon. Good evening. It is, September 17th. And I am fired up. Here's why. Our guest this morning canceled last minute. Literally, about 2 minutes before we were ready to go live. And I think that's a familiar situation for a lot of people in the spirit of the fact that it just didn't work out the way that you planned. And one of the things that I've sort of learned about entrepreneurship and marketing is that it's a lot of times not going to work out the way that you planned it to work out. So just again, and I'll reiterate this a couple of times over the next few minutes, just so people understand what I'm talking about. Our guest this morning canceled very last minute. Now, a lot of people would, in that situation, especially if you're not conditioned to adjusting quickly. Okay, if you're not used to having to, think quickly on your feet and pivot, almost like it reminds me a lot like baseball. All right. Like baseball, what baseball taught me when I played baseball when I was young, especially being on the pitcher's mound, and I throw a pitch and somebody hits a line drive right directly back to my nose. I got to think fast. Boom. I got to catch that ball. I can't just, there's a ball. I don't even have time to think. A ball's about to knock me out. Do. My dad always does that. It's kind of funny. You ever seen that Progressive insurance commercial where the guys like coaches people on how not to be their parents? I always think that one's funny. So anyways, this morning our guest canceled about 2 minutes before we went live here. And, because I've been in this situation so many different times, it's not a big deal to me. I can pretty much think on my feet. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I love to do, as a mentor, right? There's a lot of people who call themselves mentors in this industry, but really then go on to blow a bunch of smoke up people's asses. My job, I think, as a mentor, if I'm going to be a mentor to anybody, is tell you the absolute son of a bitch and truth about what is really going on and what really happens day to day, and not just pretend like it's going to be, let's all hold hands and run through a field of flowers. It's going to be great. It's not. It's going to be scary as shit sometimes. And for you, if you're brand new and say for the very first time you are doing some sort of an interview, or you're doing a live webinar, or you're going live on TikTok or something, and all of a sudden something happens, your kids come busting in the door, or you can't get your slides to work on your computer, or your internet goes out and you're 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late and you're all frazzled. How do you keep your composure in that moment? And how do you still follow through and deliver like a professional? That's the question. And I titled this episode, "This Number One Secret to Unlimited Confidence and Motivation," because the number one way to build confidence is to develop trust in yourself that you can pull through anything. And then once you do, you become inspired by yourself and your own story, and you no longer have to rely on other people to inspire you. In other words, when you're out of gas, you don't got to go to the gas station. You can just fill up right at home. And for me, that is been one of the, I guess, secrets of my success, and it's not something that I purposely did. I just look back on it now and I say, that's probably the number one way that I've developed confidence and then also ignited motivation, because I actually develop confidence through going through situations that were tough and getting through them. Like somebody, and once again, if you're just coming on or you're just tuning in, our guest canceled very last moment. I mean, literally 2 minutes before we went live. And because I've been in this sort of a situation so many times, it's not really like a panic mode situation. I'm not going to cancel the show because our guest didn't show up. I used to do this show without a guest, and I would just come up with things to talk about, come up with stories to tell, come up with value to deliver, So again, the number one secret to confidence and motivation is first and foremost expecting things not to work out the way that you plan them. Expect that. Expect also in your marketing that people are not going to do exactly what you want them to do, right? That's life. Some call it Murphy's Law and get all like negative about it. Like, well, it's always something. We don't have to go to those extremes, but the truth is that life is life. We're not actually in control. We're not in control of Mother Nature, and we're not in control of the other 8 billion people on this planet. And some people are going to do some crazy ass shit that you don't want them to do, and you ain't going to be in control of them. The only thing you're in control of is your own self and what you do. And so when somebody doesn't do what you want them to do, or what you planned on, or even what you agreed on, how many folks or even yourself do you know that when a business deal or something didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to turn out, all of a sudden that completely ruined their entire future, or they got depressed, or they went into kind of this mode to where, I knew, people are just bad or whatever. It just kind of ruined them. Well, that's a lack of acceptance. And Lisa said it right. People will disappoint you. And the guest this morning, I don't want to make it seem like he disappointed me. He didn't. Because honestly, every single day when I wake up to run and operate and do and build my business, I'm not relying on other people. If nobody shows up, imagine this. If nobody showed up, not a single one of you showed up. Okay, we got almost 170 people. We were 7 or 8 minutes late, and we got 170 people on right now. If 170 of you, and there'll probably be thousands more that listen, but imagine if not a single one of you did. Tomorrow, I woke up and just, I don't know, none of you liked my haircut or my hat, or you were like, oh, this guy, I can tell he's got dragon breath. I can't even watch him. I can't smell it, but I can't watch him. Right. And then none of you just showed up. None of the team of Legendary here showed up. What would I do? Would I just, I guess it's all over. Nobody wants to listen, and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up to the party. No, I don't give a damn if you show up to the party or not. I'm still turning 38. You know what I mean? Life goes on. Life goes on. And that's part of the, I don't know if it's killer instinct. It's certainly a learned behavior. It's not something, I don't want anybody to think that this is something that I was born with, or anybody else who's executing on a high level is born with. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something that, is in your DNA. You either got it or you don't. You're either a badass entrepreneur who can pivot and deal with ups and downs, or you're not. You're a loser. I don't believe that. I believe that it's a learned behavior. And at first it hurts like a son of a bitch, It's kind of like the first time you ever got your heart broke, you were like you were suicidal. You're like, oh my God, life is over, and hopefully that was young. You were young when that happened. And then, over the next couple of years, you were like, okay, hey, I'm going to win some, I'm going to lose some, I'm going to get dumped a few times. Not everybody's going to be for me. And the same thing happens in marketing and sales, which ultimately is the foundation of what we're all doing. If I based my kind of self-esteem off of the 97% or 96% of people who say no to my offers every day, because our front end challenge converts at about 4% to cold traffic. that means only 4 out of 100 are saying, 3 or 4 out of 100 are saying yes. I mean, I could take that and let that snowball and be like, well, son of a bitch, 96 people out of 100 don't like this. It must means I suck. No, when I start to realize that's the conversion rates. I mean, that's how marketing works. I mean, that's actually a fairly good conversion rate. You start getting down into 1%, 1% to 2%. That's when it's like, shit, I need to do something to improve this offer. You start getting into 3 and 4%. It's like, wow, this offer's crushing it. Actually, it's understanding the big picture. And I think sometimes, we get, especially if we're new, we get kind of stuck in the moment and we make mountains out of molehills. And in the long term, in the long game, one little day where something doesn't happen the way that you want it, or once or twice or 3 times a day when something doesn't happen the way that you want it. My wife and I were reading, just being silly last night, and reading that the average person farts 10 to 20 times a day. I'm thinking to myself, golly, all these beautiful human beings that I see all over the world, they're actually farting 10 to 20 times a day. I mean, I know I fart 10 to 20 times a day. That's a minimum, right? But all of these people all over the world who are beautiful fart 10 to 20 times a day. I mean, it's kind of like there's a lot of shit, no pun intended, happening on a daily basis. And if I'm farting 10 to 20 times a day and I think the average person has thousands of thoughts. I can't remember exactly how many thoughts. I think you can just Google it. How many thoughts do I have a day? I think it's like 6,000 or some crazy mess. If I'm farting 10 to 20 times a day, if I'm having thousands of thoughts per day, if I'm having, dozens or hundreds of interactions, whatever, probably dozens of interactions with people each day. If I'm doing dozens of things in my business each day, there's a good chance that some shit is not going to go the way that I want it to go. And I need to expect that. And the way that I'll build my confidence is by overcoming those, just in the moment. Okay, keep going. Just like this morning, the guy didn't show up. Really excited to talk to him, just like I am with everybody else, but he didn't show up. And what am I going to do? Oh, cancel the show. No, I'm leaving 100. Look at this. I'm leaving 100. And you guys, you think I'm funny this morning. Great. I wish, I try to be a comedian in the house and they're like, you're not funny, but I come here and you guys think I'm funny. So that's great. It's sometimes you don't need to get new material. You just need to get a new audience. You know what I mean? My wife's heard me tell the same jokes 1,000 times. So I'm always just trying to find a new audience instead of getting new material. But, building confidence and then becoming inspired. Really, I think the biggest secret to becoming inspired is really truly becoming inspired by your own story. And if you can overcome the low point where you're at when you start, because we all start a business or start a major life change because we want change, because we consider our lives in a low point or like it could be much better. So if you can overcome that point in your life and build your life up to a place to where you're doing better, that's going to take a lot of little kind of stops along the way to where you're overcoming shit that didn't go your way. You know what I mean? That's how you get to the top. That's how you become successful. And each one of those situations is going to build your kind of story and your pride in yourself. And eventually what will happen, and this is kind of why I tell my story so much and why I use my story so much. And I literally do. I tell my story, which basically for me, my story is, I was homeless and addicted to drugs and alcohol back in 2008. And I got clean, and I've been clean since then, and had a chance to build businesses and really turn my struggles into my strengths and my mess into a message. And you can substitute whatever my homelessness and addiction with your wherever you're at right now. I was at one of the lowest points of my life. I was depressed. I was suicidal. I was going to a job every day and felt like an empty shell. Whatever it is, I was in mountains of debt, right? Each one of you has that low point, right, that you can talk about, and then you begin to build your hero's journey, which is full of ups and downs, but over time you're going up, right? Because eventually you'll be in a better place and you'll become inspired by yourself. And then you'll tell your story, not only because it's a great tool, and it's a great tool to build rapport. It's a great tool to market to your audience. It's for me, it's the number one most powerful thing that out of all the marketing stuff that I've taught, the number one piece of feedback that I get from people is showing them how to go from just being a mechanical marketer, where do I point, where do I click, to understand the dynamics, your psychology and the psychology of others. And one of the best ways to, hook into people is with story and telling a hero's journey. But it's really cool when you start getting inspired by your own story and you actually look forward to telling your story and you actually get excited and pumped up when you tell your story. Why? Because you're inspired by how far you've come. And when that happens, you never need to go to the gas tank. You don't need others to motivate you. You don't need others to pump you up. You don't need to go other places. You don't need to watch endless YouTube videos. You don't need to watch endless motivational this or that. You don't need to become a seminar junkie to where you have to go to a seminar and jump up and down to be inspired and motivated. It's built in. So invite and look for and expect those moments that don't go the way that you want them to go. Expect them, all right? Know that they're coming. Here's another thing. I don't usually announce this because I like to speak to our general audience of marketers who are taking these skills that we teach and utilizing them and using them in various different niches, whether it's to make money online, whether it's the health niche, whether it's the we've got people in all kinds of different niches using these skill sets, promoting all kinds of different products. Today at 3 p.m. Eastern time, we're doing a webinar exclusively for our affiliates. Okay. People who said and decided that they wanted to become affiliates of Legendary and use our marketing systems and promote our products, okay, and utilize all the tools that we provide as a company to partner with our affiliates to help you convert sales, make money, build your business, build your list, and ultimately get to where you want to go. So if you're not an affiliate, okay, you can actually go down and apply to be an affiliate, okay? And you will do that by simply going to the front of our site. And again, if you don't want to be an affiliate, you don't have to be an affiliate, okay? But if you want to, you can go down. You can go right here to legendarymarketer.com, and you can go down to the bottom of the site and click affiliates right here, and you can sign up to be an affiliate. You can either sign up for free or you can sign up for pro, either one. And we'll email out today to all of the affiliates. We've been emailing out, but we're going to email out a couple more times before 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you're an active affiliate, an invite to that webinar. And on that webinar, what we're going to talk about is the number one opportunity that's in front of all of our eyes right now. And it's bigger and better than anything that's been, that's existed in at least the last decade since I've been online. And a lot of us are just not taking advantage of it the way that we can. So we're going to reveal what that opportunity is so it's crystal clear to you. And then we're going to give you some training that has already just over the past week helped some of our affiliates to go from, struggling to becoming number one in terms of most sales done in a day. So it's really, I'm really excited about it. So if you want to come to that webinar at 3 p.m. Eastern time, look for that email and register for that webinar. Or again, come to legendarymarketer.com, scroll down to the bottom of the site. You can click affiliates right here down at the bottom of the site. And this is usually how you find all of the affiliate programs for any company or product that you want to be an affiliate of. Usually you go right to the front of the site, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see something that says affiliates or partners, or affiliate program, affiliate opportunity, something like that. And that's where you'll find the affiliate application. But anyways, I'm really excited about that. If you didn't get that email, you can, of course, contact customer support at support at legendarymarketer.com, and we'll get you that link as well. And I'll see those of you who are affiliates on that webinar later this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And for the rest of you, I want to just invite you to expect those challenges, and all of you, really, okay? Invite you to expect those challenges, to know that things are not going to go your way. And the more that you expect that, and then you overcome that, the better and quicker you'll build your confidence, and the quicker you'll get to that place that you want to go, so you can turn your struggles into your strengths. You can turn your mess into your message, and you can turn this business both into a source of profit and a livelihood for yourself, and this is where it gets really cool, and where it gets fun, and where it gets meaningful. You turn it into the greatest source of inspiration that exists inside of your life. And that's where you really become an inspiration to yourself. You become an inspiration to others. Sometimes your family, sometimes they come later, but especially you become to, that inspiration to people out in the world. And you who's sitting there, who's just, thinking, oh, what do I have to offer? All of a sudden you start getting comments and messages and emails back from people saying, the value that you delivered really changed my life. Thank you. Thank you for getting up, waking up, and doing what you do. And then that just pours on and adds to your inspiration. Before you know it, can't nobody hold you down. All right, guys, get out of here. Have a fantastic Friday. See you, if you're an affiliate, this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And for the rest of you, we'll see you Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern time for another episode.